Week 1 is finally here as it is time for the Kansas City Chiefs to take on the Arizona Cardinals. And to keep you in tune throughout the week, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I'm going to have content throughout the week that you do not want to miss out on. And today, we're going to get it started, so let's get going. Like I mentioned to start the video, Week 1, we are here, and I'm just trying to grasp it all because this is the moment we have been waiting for all off season, is for football to finally be underway. And how I'm basically going to approach this week is still TBD, honestly, because I'm going to have videos throughout the week, and I kind of want to dissect it in portions. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze the Arizona Cardinals, because I don't want to just solely focus on the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to focus on the opponent, too, and what they bring at hand and what they're going to try to do to beat the Chiefs. And then later on, we'll have a game preview, and then I'll give you my predictions later on in the week as well. Now, my predictions are going to be solely off what I feel players are going to do in the game, and I'm not going to give you a win-loss prediction, because at the end of the day, this is a Chiefs channel, so you should anticipate I'm going to predict a win. But maybe I'll do like a confidence meter or a thing like that on how confident I feel we're going to win that game. But to get us underway in this video, let's focus on the injury report. And good news on the Kansas City Chiefs side, it's very light. There's nothing new at all. The only thing Andy Reid announced today was that Blake Bell will be moved on IR this week, which we should anticipate, meaning Elijah Lee will be the one brought up, because that's the rumors, and that's also what Elijah Lee mentioned on Twitter. So this is something we knew was going to be happening. We just didn't know when. It looks like it'll be happening this week, and it looks like Elijah Roster will be on the 53-man roster and maybe even be active going into Sunday against the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals, on the other hand, have not a lengthy injury report, but they do got key players on their injury report, which are day-to-day. And you could put Zach Ertz, Marcus Golden, and, I almost said Hollywood. It's actually Rondell Moore, which those are going to be key assets that should be available, but if not, would hurt the Cardinals in this game. But again, he said day-to-day, and I do not expect Cliff Kingsbury to reveal his hand right away. I believe they will play. I believe he's just trying to keep everything under the covers at the moment. But who knows? If the injuries are more concerning than what I view to my eye, then a Zach Ertz loss, a Rondell Moore loss could hurt too, because they're already dealing with D-Hop on suspension. And then Golden too, because then you're going to solely depend on J.J. Watt in the pass rushing, because they don't have Chandler Jones no more. So even though I'm not making much of these injuries, because I just feel like it's under the covers and they're not trying to reveal their plan, at the end of the day, if it is something, that is definitely a benefit for Kansas City moving forward into this game. As well, we do have an acquisition that the Kansas City Chiefs made today to their practice squad, and former Arizona Cardinals safety James Wiggin, known as, better yet, as great special teams player. Honestly, I can't say great because I don't know too much about him, but I'm going off of what I've seen basically on social media, and people are saying he is a upgrade over like a Zane Anderson, which at this point, who really isn't an upgrade over Zane Anderson? I'm not the biggest fan, so I don't mean to like slam him to anyone who is, but definitely needed to be an upgrade. But also, it's a practice squad, so that makes you think, and made a lot of people think, it's like, did they sign him to get to know the Arizona Cardinal playbook? And I don't really buy too much into that either, but who knows? We'll learn after Sunday. If he's cut Monday morning, yeah, that's exactly what they used him for. I'm not going to make too much of this signing. Like I mentioned, it is a practice squad signing. Maybe at the end of the day, he can be someone who has performed well in practice and gets elevated and be your special team ace moving forward, and see how that goes. But right now, not too much news, but it's a newsworthy acquisition that I did want to bring to the channel. Now we're going to get into a few things to where I think the Arizona Cardinals might try to take advantage and win this game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and where I think Kansas City needs to pinpoint their focus a little harder on. That way this doesn't become too much of a game, because I do see a lot of people banking this as an automatic win for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I don't want to put that in bookmark or in pin just yet too. This game reminds me a lot of basically last year's Week 1 game against the Cleveland Browns, where I can view this as a high shootout game or a very competitive game. Like, I view the Cleveland Browns of last year to start off the season kind of the same way I do the Arizona Cardinals, where they're a competitive team, but they're also that bring playoff team where you don't know what they can bring any given Sunday. And that is exactly what I think we're going to get in this matchup too. I think it's going to be a fun, exciting game. And I don't think it could be a guaranteed victory, as a lot of people are viewing in Chiefs Kingdom. But at the end of the day, like I mentioned, I'm going to anticipate the win, but here's a few things I think we need to watch out for. And first, we're going to dive into the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver room. Now, a lot of people might think this is a light wide receiver room, especially with D-Hop being suspended for the first 6 weeks. But they got talent in that wide receiver room. They still got A.J. Green. They got Rondell Moore. And then the acquisition and trade on draft day with Hollywood Brown and then Zach Ertz. Now, I did mention 2 of those guys on the injury reports with Zach Ertz and Rondell Moore. But the first thing you notice in that room is the elusiveness and speed. And if this young DB core doesn't have it all quite together, it could be a long day. Now, am I anticipating it's going to be a long day? No. But I can see a fact to where former college teammates try to get it clicking right away. So don't be surprised if you see Murray trying to force that ball to Hollywood Brown. And if Kansas City doesn't have an answer for that and doesn't strap that down right away, that's going to be one of the formulas the Cardinals are going to try to do to win. My main thing I want to watch out for, too, in this cornerback room against these wide receivers is how is it going to be paired off. So if Arizona is going to use Hollywood Brown as their wide receiver number 1, are they going to roll with Snead over there or McDuffie? It's going to be interesting to see the rotations and who Fenton will be on, too. The matchups in the cornerbacks against the wide receivers for the Arizona Cardinals is something you should most definitely keep your eyes on, because just because D-Hop isn't there, it will be a fun and exciting thing to see going forward. One key point I'm not going to mention in this video because I think it's obvious that the Kansas City Chiefs should watch out for, and that's Kyler Murray. Now, we know what he can do when he extends the play or when he gets out of the pocket or even when he uses his legs and scrambling to excel for extra yardage too. The Kansas City Chiefs, I already know, are working on formulas to contain him in the pocket and try to force him into a second and third read and make sure that first read is covered. But what I'm also going to focus on is in that backfield too, and that is James Conner's too. And one thing I want to kind of clarify with this too with James Conner is, I don't know, I don't view him as a top tier back or maybe even a second tier back. But what can be scary is when the Chiefs are working with Arizona on the offense and they make it short field. That's, I think, where James Conner will excel. When it's like when they're in the goal line or when they're 20 yards or things like that, I think that's when it becomes Arizona's ball game. So if Kansas City can make this a long field game for them and stretch it and make like 80-yard drives, 70-yard drives, I think that likely bodes for the Kansas City Chiefs, because we know Kansas City's offense can excel from long distance, short distance, you name it. The offense is going to do what they do. But run game specific for the Arizona Cardinals, I don't see James Conner going crazy. But as well, he had 15 touchdowns last year, and most of them were basically from the red zone too. They weren't nothing long or crazy runs. And if the Chiefs can contain the run game and contain basically half-field advantage too, that will basically eliminate James Conner, I believe. I don't think you will eliminate the whole run game, because as long as you have Kyler Murray, he's going to scramble and try to do what he does best. But at the end of the day, too, if you have a successful pass rush that actually gets to the quarterback, I'm not talking about like he scrambles, gets away from your pass rush, and extends a play downfield. I'm talking about bringing sacks down, bringing pressures to where it forces incompletions with the George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Carlos Dunlap. If they can do their thing against Murray and make him feel the pressure, that will also help too, because then you depend on a run game that might not be successful in the long field. And if they can't make it a short field game, that would be a Kansas City advantage all day, every day. Now, this might be one of the most quieter things to watch out for, but I think it's something that needs to be watched out for too. And again, I mentioned him on the injury report, but I do anticipate him to play. And that is Marcus Golden and J.J. Watt. And it depends on where they are on the line or where they rotate. But right away in my head, unless it changes, and I will update it throughout the week, I feel like Orlando Brown will draw Golden, and then you have Andrew Wiley, he will draw J.J. Watt. And right now, as it seems, is J.J. Watt is fully healthy. So we want to see if age is a factor or if he has that moment of youth in him that he can excel to, because we have played like the Texans and things like that. And I think we even played the Cardinals when J.J. Watt was... No, because that would have been last year, right? Yeah. Well, all regard, like we played J.J. Watt, and we happened to play him when he wasn't fully his healthiest. And now it seems he is. And that could be a key matchup, is how will Wiley hold his own against J.J. Watt? Now, he might look like a shell of himself, and that might be beneficial for Wiley. But also, too, if you flip the script on to Golden, Golden is a straight speed rusher, and he knows how to get after the quarterback. And it's time for Orlando Brown Jr. He wants to be paid like one of the best left tackles. You got to block like him too. Not saying he's bad or anything like that, but he needs to take his game up to another level. And he gets to start with a pass rusher who recorded double-digit sacks last year. So I know he's injured, but I do anticipate him to play. But if you let these two pass rushers at all get dominant in this game and make it a long day for Mahomes, that could spell problems. Do I see that happening? No. Maybe at most I can see maybe like a sack. Maybe 2, but I don't think nothing too crazy. Kansas City has one of the top offensive lines in the game when it comes to pass and rushing. But at the end of the day, I think this is something we should focus on because I do anticipate Cliff Kingsbury to find a way to deliver blitz packages to get to Mahomes and make him uncomfortable. But if you do that and he scrambles and gets out of the pocket, that's when he's his best as well. So that should be fun to watch. My number one key takeaway in this game will be Arizona's secondary versus our receiving core. And honestly, there is good matchups out there. And we're going to start with the tight end, of course, in himself and Travis Kelce. And then you got Budda Baker. That is like a top-notch heavyweight fight. Travis Kelce is drawing one of the best safeties in the league. And they're going to go pound for pound, blow for blow. Kelce will get his. Baker will have some of his lockdowns as well. So when those reads are held against Kelce, it's the moment we've been waiting for, and we will see it week 1. This wide receiver core, the wide receiver committee, who is going to step up and produce. And it might not sound as easy right away as you think too, because Arizona, they got a decent secondary, but their first cornerback on the board is Byron Murphy, and I would assume he's going against Juju. So that's going to be another fun matchup to watch too. So let's say those two matchups right there hold on their own. This is what we come here to see, that wide receiver depth. Who is going to be that second wide receiver to step up? Because Arizona's defense as well afterwards, there's question marks on that secondary too. They can get got. And who's going to be that guy for the wide receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs that will go get them? Could it be McCole? Could it be MVS? Could it be Sky Moore? Could it be Watson? This is my most exciting point of this game because I do see it at a point where Mahomes is going to have to get away from his first read in Kelce and maybe even his second read in Juju. The new guys that are in, and even McCole, they will have to make a play to win the game and even extend a lead to be it at most 2. And that's going to be the most fun point too. If I had to put my money on it right now, on a number 2 wide receiver who I think would step up, I don't know. I'm leaning towards MVS, but it's only Monday too. I think we're going to see a lot of committee play in this wide receiver room week 1, and it's going to be fun to see too. As well too, before I close this video off too, I wanted to mention something since we're sticking on the offense side of the ball, not even wide receiver room. And another reason Kansas City will have fun in this game on offense is Reed mentioned too that it looks like going into this game they will have 3 active running backs. So what does that draw to your mind right away? It should be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, and Isaiah Pacheco. And he also mentioned all 3 will be involved and get playing time as well. That was fun to hear too. That means we will see Pacheco in this game. I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom is excited to see that. We don't know how many snaps it will be, but we know he will make the most of it too. And in my game preview, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into these running backs because I think that's going to be a key matchup to watch out for. And I think if Kansas City Chiefs focus on the run game, that might not even be a game week but 1. But with that, Chiefs Kingdom, I will close this video out. You let me know some things that the Arizona Cardinals might provide week 1 that could not scare you, but make it a game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And with that, y'all take care. But please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video. Peace.